we'll do an eye demo. Remember, we have the eyes 1 eye width apart. And we have space created already in our ocular cavity there. Really important to note when you're doing eyeballs is that the eyeball itself is going to be able to fit within, because it's an entire sphere, it's going to fit within your occipital orbit. So if you make your eyes too flat, like so, that means that the circumference of your sphere is way too big. Let's like make that an eye. Like wouldn't fit in the head. So the way to counteract that, you can almost pretend your eyeball is like one of those little bouncy rubber balls. And you can almost always err towards thinner rather than wider, if that makes sense, smaller. Okay, so roughly create an eyeball. Then what I like to do is make eyelids just out of little slabs of clay. The eyelid, like the mouth, you can easily imagine it connected fully together, right? But then it's been sliced. That's how I imagine it, sliced open. And if you look at your eyelids, both on the top and on the bottom, they have thickness. They're not just like a sheet of paper. So I'm going to go ahead and cup my eyeball, that eyelid, on both the top and the bottom. Now the eyes are shaped roughly like an almond. You hear people talk about how in books there's almond-shaped eyes. What that means for us is it's slightly bigger and then it's got this little, so it's not quite a oval shape, it's got a little more dimension than that. And the tear duct sits over here. This eye, always kind of stand back and take a look. It's bridging on too large. It's also demonstrating, if you can get in here, you can see if you can figure out what's wrong with my eyeball as it stands. And it is that the lower lid should not protrude above the upper lid. It should be vice versa. So I'm going to add a little more dimension to that lid. And it's also possible that the whole eye will need to be shifted back into the skull a little bit. That's better. The other thing that is wrong with this eye is it's like weighted and too thick on the bottom. So to narrow that up for us. And then again with your tool, it's like you're going to cradle that eye with this skin. Let it wrap the eyeball, the top and the bottom. I have a very thick eyelid on there, which I will probably knock down as I go. But first, you're still feeling like your eye is a bit big, just remove material on the corners. And then the other important thing to note is that when you're looking at somebody's eye or your own eye, the iris is only fully visible on the bottom. It's a very big iris I just drew. It disappears into the upper lid. That's good. You want it to disappear. It's more natural. So first I draw in my iris. And then my pupil. And if you want to be like the Greek masters, carve out that bottom part of the iris and make the pupil into a heart shape so that it looks like a glint in somebody's eye. My clay's a little sticky. In general, the depth and the amount of clay that you take out should create more shadow. More shadow is more darkness. So someone with darker eyes, you would remove more material. Lighter eyes, you might remove less material. Another thing that you'll begin to see is just the slightest movements are going to alter expression on this face, which is so cool. And you'll see, the more eyes you try to sculpt or draw, how many different ways there are to do so. So this is just one. Play with this one, and then we'll look at another way in another video. Part of why this eye looks funny is because it needs an eyebrow. Let's just throw that on there real fast. Eyebrow! It's terrible. Okay, not terrible. I'm gonna let Kenzie go here. Let's fix that. A little more depth out of the bottom. When I say it looks terrible, I'm really picky about my eyes when I'm sculpting because I really want it to feel like the person is looking at me. So until I feel like the person is looking at me, I don't give up. So I'm gonna just work that a little harder. Part of it could be also that I don't have the shape of my occipital orbit just right yet to encompass that eyelid. I will play and I will play and I will play with this, and I'll also do so when the clay is at different stages of dryness. Right now this clay is very sticky, so I'm having a hard time controlling it. But if I let this kind of set up for a little while and then return to it, I'll have a easier time controlling the clay and creating my eye. Another thing you can always do is just remove the pupil altogether and do kind of a reverse. that one more later.